Welcome back to the Extra Point Podcast. I'm your host. Oh, almost lost that. Justin. Charles is not here this week. He is gone on a little pastor's trip, playing some golf, living it up right now. But you got me today, and it's going to be a really, really good episode. So if you're new here, we're just two pastors. Today, just one pastor who loves Jesus a lot and wants, in the same time, to glorify him while being able to talk about the beautiful things of sports that he has blessed us with. So we're going to do just that today. I'm going to go ahead and pray, and we'll get into the episode. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you so much for this moment, for your presence, Father. We thank you for the things that you're doing through this podcast, through the lives of me and Charles, for everybody who's watching this podcast. I just pray a special blessing over whoever's viewing this, wherever they may be, in their car, in their house, in their room, kitchen, wherever it may be, Father. I just pray a hedge of blessing and protection and favor over their life, Father. And just be with us in our daily lives, be with our families, and let us love you in a new way today. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen, amen, amen. All right, this is episode 21, right? Yeah, 21. This is episode 21. Lots to talk about this week. Lots going on in the country. Lots going on in the world today. Just this past Sunday, we had, and I'm sure you guys are all aware, Charlie Kirk's funeral service. And if you saw it, you saw it. If you didn't, you missed out. It was one of the most beautiful tributes, memorials, funerals, services, whatever you want to call it. Dedications to somebody's life that I've ever seen in my life. And it was just really cool to see that many people gathered in a stadium. I think it was about 70,000 people. Just being able to experience the gospel in a new way. I mean, the gospel right now is all over social media, the White House, just so many people who are coming to know the Lord through this story. And it really is just a beautiful thing that's happening in this country. And obviously we're still praying for the Kirk family. We're praying for everybody who's involved in that, Father. And yeah, it's just a crazy thing that's God is starting to turn around for his glory, which is what he usually does, isn't it? But yeah, crazy stuff happening, as well as a jam-packed weekend full of sports, which we're going to get straight into. Starting off with college football. I'm going to kind of just briefly go through some games that were kind of marks for the new AP Top 25. Big ones that I really want to talk about: Miami beating Florida. I mean, Miami right now looks like the best team in the nation. Obviously, Ohio State is still ranked ahead of them just because of the national championship that they have right now, and they're still undefeated, and they look good. But Miami is dominant right now. They have, I think, the best schedule so far of opponents they've defeated. And even this Florida team. I mean, Florida has a legit defense. We saw it against this Miami team. We saw it against LSU as well. Like, they put up a really good fight. And it looked a little bit in, like, the third quarter where, like, Miami was struggling. It looked like Florida after they scored that tutty. I was kind of nervous for Miami. But, I mean, they pulled through. Carson Beck, again, had a good game, man. He's on Heisman watch right now. Miami, I think, is going to be one of the two teams playing in the national championship. Another one we saw, I mean, I'm going to continue to talk about Texas just because of Arch, and he's just a story in general. He bounced back. Shout out Sam Houston. Nobody had any questions about that. But he needed this bounce back game. He needs these games to get going because they have a gauntlet coming up, and now is the time to really get going. Big game right here. Indiana beat Illinois by almost half of 100 points. I think it was, what is the score? 10-63. I mean, that was just pure domination from Indiana's end. And Illinois, granted, they probably shouldn't even be ranked this high. I think a little bit of it is just recency bias. Last season, they finished strong their last couple games of the year, so they kind of placed them this high. They shouldn't have been ranked 9th. But either way, they dropped out. I think they're probably like 23rd right now in the top 25. Indiana looks like a legit threat, man. I mean, they controlled that game from start to finish. Fernando Mendoza, he looks like, I mean, he's on Heisman watch right now. If they continue this thing, the Big Ten has got some dogs in that conference, I will say. Indiana showed out. Auburn, Oklahoma, man, what a game. What a game for Auburn and Oklahoma. And I know a lot of Auburn fans, including one of my best friends, they will say the refs cheated them in this game. And I watched the game. I agree. The refs were on Oklahoma's side, it looked like, especially in that fourth quarter call. I mean, they was getting calls overturned, touchdowns overturned. I mean, it was kind of crazy. But I will say, John Mateer is the guy. He is the guy, and he is going to will that Oklahoma team, I think, to at least an SEC championship win, or at least an appearance in the SEC championship game. I mean, they look unstoppable right now. I mean, granted, Auburn is not, like, they're a tough team. And I don't think it's fair for them to have bounced out of the top 25 after barely losing to an Oklahoma team that's, rolling right now. I don't think that's necessarily fair after Illinois lost by 50. And they're in the Big Ten, but Auburn's in the SEC. So a little bit of bias there, but still, man, it was, Oklahoma's a team right now. I really like them a lot this year. Loved them going into this season. People were doubting John Mateer. People were doubting them this offseason. Got the new OC. Got the best transfer quarterback in the portal. They're going to make some noise. He's got Heisman candidate potential. He's literally just got the hint factor. People comparing him to Johnny Manziel. I don't think he's on the verge of a Johnny Manziel level. Obviously, Johnny Manziel was probably one of the best college quarterbacks that we've ever seen in our lifetime. But if he continues this stretch of games that he's having, I don't see why he can't be included in that conversation. Shout out John Mateer. The other one that I want to talk about was Texas Tech. They kind of showed out against Utah. Red Raiders are rolling right now. Utah did not look sharp in that game at all. That fourth quarter, Texas Tech scored 24 points. Really just pulled away from the game. That is the game right there. Texas Tech, I think, is the best team in the Big 12, and they'll be making the playoffs, and they'll be winning that Big 12 championship. Georgia Tech, another dominant victory against Temple, and I'll kind of talk about the rankings right after this. Georgia Tech has been showing out all year. They look like, aside from Miami, probably the best team in the ACC. I don't see another team really. Obviously they showed out against Clemson. Showing out here, 4-0. They should be ranked higher. We'll talk about that in a second. And as well as Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt has looked dominant all year too. They're winning games. They dropped 70 points. Granted, Georgia State, still 70 points in a college game is kind of absurd. Their offense has just been rolling, bro. And Diego has them on a tear. Some other games, obviously, we had USC had a bounce back against Michigan State. Jaden Maivia looks like a guy right now. That offense is rolling, and they're going to make some noise coming up. Shout out Jaden Maivia. I'm going to go through the rankings really quick. Okay, so, we have some movers. I'll kind of briefly highlight a few. Miami jumped up to number 2 from 4. I think that's right. I think the top 2 teams right now should be Ohio State, Miami, in whatever order, whether you want to put Miami or Ohio State. Miami has been looking like the best team in the nation, but Ohio State still coming off the national championship, undefeated. I think they deserve that spot. Penn State moves down after a bye week. I still think Penn State is one of the 4 best teams in the nation. Again, undefeated team. They're looking like that offense is rolling. They're not missing a beat right now. LSU dropped from 1 after defeating, I can't remember who it was, but they looked dominant as heck. But again, that offense had a bounce back game, but it looked a little bit rough in that first quarter. First couple drives, it looked like Garrett was just, I don't know, man. This just seems something that has going off about Garrett. But they're still dominant nonetheless. 4-0, another dominant victory. Georgia and Oregon stay the same after bye weeks. Oklahoma jumps up. Again, they look like they should be one of the top 5 teams right now. But give them another week, I think they'll be comfortably in that top 5. Florida State dropped after they put it on. I can't remember who it was, a no-name school. Again, they look dominant. We'll see what happens. They play Miami, not this week, but next week. That's going to be probably game of the week. Probably game day is going to be there. That's going to be a fun game. Let's see who else. Indiana obviously jumped up 8 spots to 11. Again, after beating a team by 60 points, yeah, you have no choice but to jump them in the top 10, I think. Texas Tech jumped up 5. That's big for them. Some fallers. Bama fell, which is interesting to me because didn't they just beat Wisconsin? Yeah. Don't know how Bama's falling right now. Bama, I think, still is. But again, we had Georgia Tech above them, so I like that. Georgia Tech and Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt should be above Bama as well. Again, they're 4-0, undefeated in the SEC. They should be above Bama. And Illinois dropped 14 spots. Take them out of the top 25. They shouldn't be in the top 25. Shout out TCU. They made it in there. They're looking good. They beat my Tar Heels week 1. We'll see what happens. My Tar Heels lost to UCF. Got destroyed by my own school back in Orlando, Florida. That hurt to watch, but we move on. Hey guys, I want to pause from the video for a moment just to kind of bring you this week's extra point. It's been really heavy on my heart for the past couple weeks. Obviously, in the face of everything that's going on in this country, in the face of everything that's going on in this world, I just feel like, and we kind of touched a little bit more so about the Charlie Kirk stuff last week, But this week, I really want to kind of hone in on just the response that's going on in churches, leaders across this country, people across social media. I just see right now there's only two sides to this. It feels like you're just spreading so much love, right, or standing firm in what you believe, or B, you're just spreading hate. And I'm seeing a lot of hate going on from even people who call themselves Christians and who call themselves, peacemakers and under the law. And it breaks my heart to see the state of what's going on. Obviously, I'm encouraged by all of this because we are seeing an increase in the amount of people coming to church. We're seeing an increase in the amount of people who are giving their lives to Christ. But in the same time, we have to kind of analyze the way we're approaching it, how we're interacting with people online, because people are watching us at the end of the day. You have a role in society. Your influence is higher than what you might realize, especially if you're a leader at a church, you work at a church. We just have to be really careful about the way we're interacting with people, what we're saying. And I'm just seeing a lot of hate. And I just kind of want to touch on that, give some verses that kind of go against that mindset of just spreading hate, spreading negativity. And I think people are using the excuse of, I'm standing firm in what I believe. I'm standing firm in the truth. This is what Jesus would be doing. Jesus would be flipping tables. I don't agree with that in a sense. And I'm going to kind of give you some verses on back that up why I don't agree with that. But I think the Bible is really clear in the role that what we play in the church. And we are called to respond in a way that reflects Jesus, not the world. We're supposed to reflect the face of Jesus. And there are a few key principles that I want to touch on right here. But Romans 12:21 says to not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. And when faced with anger, bitterness, which I have been faced with a lot of these feelings of anger and like wanting to respond to certain posts, like telling people off, like, no, you're getting this completely wrong. You know what I'm saying? But as a Christian, we are called to show the character of Christ, which is what? Gentleness, compassion, truth, and love. In the face of all of this, Christ wouldn't be doing that. Christ is one that spread love. He was eating with the tax doers. He was spending time with the people who called themselves sinners. And while we are tempted, like I just mentioned, it is really tempting to comment under a post. It is really tempting to make a video just addressing everything and standing firm by covering it, by saying you're standing firm in your beliefs. But I think one way to stand firm, if in your belief, is showing the character of Christ, which is love, gentleness, compassion. And another one I want to touch on is Matthew 5:9, which is a big one for me right now this season. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called sons of God. And while we want to be tempted to in our defense, back up the gospel, defend the gospel by going after these people who are, saying all of these hurtful things about Christianity, all these hurtful things going all across the internet. But when in the face of all of this, I think the only way that we can really seek being peacemakers is to pursue reconciliation with people, is to kind of find a common ground with people. The Bible says that you are supposed to meet people where they're at, right? Weep with those who weep, mourn with those who mourn, and celebrate with those who celebrate. And obviously, we're not going to get to a place where we're celebrating people's deaths. Obviously, that's not what I'm saying. But find a place in the middle of that where you can reach people where they're at while also standing firm in your belief. Like, there is unity possible in all of this. I really, really do believe it. We're seeing it happen without compromising the truth. Which kind of brings me to my next one. And it's just standing firm in your truth while having humility. There's temptation, again, like I mentioned, to lash out on people. There's temptation to either lash out or retreat in silence. I think that's kind of two reactions that people are having right now. You're either so overwhelmed by emotions where you want to come out and you want to address every rumor, you want to comment on every post, or there's people who kind of get a little bit, not scared is the word, but more so just like, you know what, I'm not going to entertain this. I'm going to kind of retreat and just stay silent on this topic, which, again, there is a value in staying silent. But we don't want to bend to falsehood. We don't want to bend to this world. We don't want to bend while people are out here so loud and firm in what they believe, right? I think there's a role that we play in also doing the same thing, but going back to my other point, with love and gentleness, with compassion, not using the truth as a weapon right? I think I just mentioned we're not using what we believe our God to be, which is again love, truth, compassion. We're not going to use that as a weapon to hurt other people and to kind of bully them into believing God is real. I think there's a way we have humility in that, right? But not bending to falsehood. And Ephesians 6:12 reminds us that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world. Just remind yourself, people are not the enemy. Sin and the enemy is the enemy. Sin and the devil are the real enemies in this world. And that kind of gives me a little bit of peace in all of this. And that's really gotten me through this verse alone. Like, it keeps my posture from hating people. Long story short, it keeps my posture from attacking people when we should be attacking the core issue, which is just the evil in this world, which is just the sin that is corrupt in this world. That's our real enemy, and that's who we should be attacking, not the person in itself. I mean, the Bible said that love is patient. Like, that's our response as Christians. We're to love people nonetheless. We're to meet people where they're at, not in a sense that we're bowing down to them, not in a sense that we're bowing down to falsehood, we're bowing down to the darkness. But there is a balance in the middle of this. There's a balance in the middle of all this controversy, in the middle of all this hatefulness, in the middle of all this turmoil, in the middle of all this sin. I think that there is a light that we are to kind of reach for. And I am reminded of that. In the face of all of this, I am reminded that there is just so much darkness in this world. So much darkness in the world. But I am also reminded that there is light in this world. And I think that's what I'm really leaning on, the light in this world. And, I'm not going to be one to really teach people how to conduct themselves as Christians. Don't think that's my role. But I am here to kind of give you a little bit of a different approach in the midst of all of this, through patience, integrity, kindness. I think all of those, more so, I think displaying patience, displaying integrity, and displaying kindfulness, I think those three characteristics will stand out more against the unbeliever than one that is, going after them with noise, going after them with hate, going after them with just defense. I think our best defense is a better offense, right? And what's our offense? We know the truth. We know who Christ is. He is kind. He is gentle. He is love. And I think if we display those three characteristics more than anything else, those three characteristics will outshine more than the others, more than a hateful heart, more than somebody that is trying to make sure their point gets across, more than the other person. I think I genuinely believe that. I really do believe that. So again, as Christians, we're called to rise above this world. We're not of this world. We're in it. We're not of this world. So, displaying hate, division, embodying all of these things as a Christian, while in your mind you might be thinking that you're doing the right thing. You might be thinking that you're defending the gospel. I just think it's spreading more hate. And I think that's not a way to win this world. That's not a way to win lost souls. We're to meet people where they're at. We're to display love, display kindness, patience, humility. Those characteristics will outshine the other ones. And I really do believe that. So remember who the real enemy is in this world. Again, people are not our enemy. Sin and darkness, those are our enemy. The devil is our enemy, not people. So if we feel like that's taken over people, our main reaction or instinct shouldn't be to attack the person. It should be to attack the root issue of all of it, which is sin. And I think the best way to do that is by showing love, showing humility, showing kindness. That should be our natural instinct. So if you have, questions about this, I know this is a confusing time for people. I know this is a weird time on how to react to all of this, what to believe, what not to believe. Again, our DMs are always open. We'd love to talk. We'd love to chat through this with you guys. But our main takeaway from this should be, if we call ourselves Christians, if we call ourselves children of the Most High, then we are to display characteristics of the Most High. And his main characteristics throughout the entire scripture, throughout every verse you can read in the Bible, is kindness, love, gentleness, humility. Not one that displays hate, division, separation. That should be your response. And so be the salt, be the pillars of this world, be the light in this world. Don't be the opposite of that. Don't spread hate. Don't run to Instagram. Don't run to Twitter. Don't run to the comment sections and just try to defend your gospel. I think there's a way you could defend your gospel while standing firm in your belief, while also displaying love and kindness. That's my main objective of this extra point. And so if you have any questions, reach out. If you have any comments, complaints, concerns, testimonies, we're getting so many cool testimonies of people coming to church in the midst of all of this. I think, again, for back-to-back weeks, we've had our highest attended Sundays, and I'm not saying that to kind of raise ourselves on a pedestal. This is globally, across the country. I know this is happening for sure. It's just a reminder that there is a revival happening in this country. There is a spiritual awakening that's happening right now, and it's a really beautiful thing. While it is a heavy burden to carry because we are called to get these people to come to know Christ, it's a heavy burden, but it's a beautiful one. I don't think there's any better satisfaction than seeing a lost person come to know Jesus and just completely change the trajectory of their life. I don't think there's any better satisfaction than that. So yeah, if you have any testimonies or cool stories you want to share, reach out to us. And yeah, love you guys. Peace. That's enough college football. We're going to go ahead and talk about the NFL, which was one of the weirdest weeks I feel like that I've seen in an NFL season in a long time. I mean, we'll talk about the fantasy side of things, but like just weird games, weird victories, weird field goal kicks in a matter of like seconds within each other, different games. I don't know, man. It was weird. But we'll start off. Let me pull it up. I guess we can kind of go through the games briefly. I'll just touch on each one since Charles isn't here. I could do what I want. Thursday Night Football, Bills dominated the Dolphins. Josh Allen, best quarterback in the league. Don't need to talk about anything, to be honest. I guess something to kind of bring up, Ollie Gordon did vulture a touchdown from Devon Achane. But again, I don't think that really has any significance going forward. All right, off the rip. Packers, Browns. I mean, what in the world did we just witness? It was 10-13. At halftime, it was 10, I think, to 0. Yeah, it was 10-0 at halftime. Packers were winning. Ended up losing the game. In the fourth quarter, they were up 10-0. Ended up losing the game 13-10. That offense was really, really hard to watch at times. I mean, Jordan Love was getting hit, it looked like, every 10 seconds. And there were some real boneheaded plays that I noticed. I mean, like, there was a 3rd and 1 in that fourth quarter. I think it might have been 3rd or 4th, where they're kind of on the opposite side of the field. Jordan Love scrambles and takes a sack, probably like a 10, 11-yard sack on a 3rd and 1. And it's just like, I don't know. That's weird. They were flat. They had no energy. They really didn't, bro. The Browns, I don't really take too much away from this game. I think it was just, I still believe in the Packers. I think it was just really one of those weird, flat, no-energy games, which is odd because the Packers had extra time to prepare coming from a Thursday night game to a Sunday night the next week. But, I mean, I still have hope in the Packers. Browns, I mean, the only bright spot from this game, I think, is Quinshon Judkins. He's completely, I feel like, taking over that backfield. Shout out Quinshon. He's looking dominant right now. We could talk about the Colts, baby. Colts, Titans. Colts won 41-20. I mean, it's time to really talk about it. Like, Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes. I don't even think it's Danny Dimes anymore. It's Danny Dollar. Like, this guy is just, he's willing this team. He's looking dominant. And it's not like he's managing a game from a sense of, like, dump-offs. He's throwing the ball down the field. And he's not being scared to, like, take shots. And I think there are too many people hyping up Daniel Jones in a sense that they're making him feel like he is the one that's really willing this team and, like, leading this team. Let's give some respect for Jonathan Taylor. Like, Jonathan Taylor right now looks like the best running back in the NFL. I mean, he's gotten 3 touchdown games. There was one run where he broke like 4 tackles, it looked like. He looked like the best running back in the NFL. Colts look dominant. Daniel Jones looks, again, is he the next Baker Mayfield? Is he the next Sam Darnold? I mean, it's hard to tell after 3 games. But, I mean, he's finally got an offensive line. He's finally got a competent head coach. He's got a great running back. He's got receivers, Pittman, Downs. He's got a good tight end in Tyler Warren. He's got a defense. Like, I mean, I don't know. I think it's something to talk about. Obviously, the whole thing from going after New York, we saw Saquon dominate 2K yards, win a Super Bowl. Daniel Jones, undefeated right now, no picks. I mean, the Colts are looking really good. And it looks like they're going to win that division, which I think I had the Texans winning that division going into the year. Texans, we'll get to them in a second. They looked bad, and they're not looking good at all. Bengals, Vikings. What was this game? 10-48. Vikings win a game at home. It is while Carson Wentz did look good, this defense, Brian Flores is coaching this defense up. For this defense to have like, what was it, like 3 picks, like 2 pick sixes, a fumble recovery. I mean, obviously they went up against Jake Browning, so it's like you can't put much emphasis on a win like that. They're still both backup quarterbacks, but 48-10 is no joke. Like, Carson Wentz, he is not a bad quarterback. He's not. I think he is right now probably the best backup quarterback in the NFL. Excuse me. I mean, he looked good, and I think right now he's probably better than J.J. McCarthy. Like, in this point of their careers, J.J. McCarthy, he's just a little bit scared to take shots. He's not as accurate. I think Carson Wentz right now is a better quarterback. I mean, and Kevin O'Connell, he can make any quarterback look good in that offense. We saw Sam Darnold last year. I mean, light up the year, 40 touchdowns, 4,000 yards. He's looking good in Seattle right now, but majority of that was because of Kevin O'Connell. We saw, Josh Dobbs last year go on a tear with that team. We saw Nick Mullins one time, like 2 years ago, like put up numbers in that offense. Like that offense is made with Kevin O'Connell to make a quarterback look good. But Brian Flores has that team rolling. Bengals, your season's cooked. And it's probably time to, like Jake Browning, he's a good quarterback. He's an average backup quarterback. But you can't look that bad in a game. I think for the sake of this team, maybe they try to make a trade for a quarterback. Maybe a Gardner Minshew. Maybe you get I don't even know where Josh Dobbs is nowadays. Maybe you get Ryan Fitzpatrick out of retirement. I don't know what it is. Or Kirk Cousins. Like, what is Kirk Cousins doing? Even the Falcons right now might need to go to Kirk Cousins. But I think they should trade for a quarterback right now because you're wasting prime Jamar, T. Higgins, Chase Brown. Like, this offense is just going to crap. And it's because, obviously, Joe Burrow's injury and Jake Browning's just not good. Yeah, but we digress. We move on. Steelers-Patriots. Steelers won 21-14. In a game with the Patriots, it looked like they had the game. Like, they were putting up a fight, but Ramondre, 2 fumbles. You get a fumble from Antonio Gibson. Drake May fumbles the ball. It looked like they had 6 turnovers, I think, in this game. So you basically just gave the game to the Steelers on a silver platter. Even though they won by 1 score, Pittsburgh didn't look great either. But it really was New England lost that game more than Pittsburgh won. But a bright spot, I think we get finally a Trevion Henderson majority of that backfield work. Obviously, with Ramondre fumbling, Antonio Gibson fumbling, it looks like they're going to give him a little bit more of that offense. So if you got Ramondre on your team, now's the time to really feel confident in him. What else we got here? Rams-Eagles. Okay, let's talk about it. Rams up 26-7 at halftime. That first half, the Eagles looked like the worst team in the NFL. The Rams were completely dominating them on both sides of the ball. I think the Rams went into halftime with probably 200 passing yards, 100 yards rushing. The Eagles went into halftime -1 rushing yards. And I don't remember how many -1 passing yards and like 10 rushing yards or something like that with Saquon Barkley. That halftime break, I do not know what voodoo they did during that halftime break. But for the Eagles to come out of that second quarter into that third quarter looking like a brand new football team. This might be the best Nick Sirianni turnaround game in a span of one game for him to flip the script completely, going from a team that had no energy, no flow on offense to a second half where that team scored, how many points was it? 26 points in the second half and shut out the Rams in the second half. Disgusting. I think the biggest adjustment it looked like, which was kind of been the entire talk about the Eagles the entire year, is giving 11 the ball, giving A.J. Brown, your ex-receiver, number 1 receiver, the ball, and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert, giving them opportunities in open field to make people miss tackles and get the offense moving to really open up the field for Saquon. Because this year they haven't. Last year, majority of what worked with Saquon running for 2K was they were spreading the ball out, getting the ball out fast, dropping back in shotgun formation, airing it out. Obviously, Jalen Hurts this game, he won them this game because he was stepping back and airing it out. A.J. Brown had one-on-one coverage with one safety playing high, and I think that was the play where Jalen kind of threw it up to him. And he wasn't even throwing like beautiful balls to him. He was just throwing balls. And A.J. Brown is that receiver. He's an X receiver. He'll get the ball. And he dominated them. I mean, he dominated. Completely domination on him. Like, A.J. Brown is that X receiver. And it looked like Devontae Smith had a really good game too. The Rams, though, man, like, what do you make of this game? Obviously, this was a revenge game from them, and it looked like they were going to win the game going into it at halftime. But it looks like their biggest takeaway is they need a cornerback. They didn't draft a cornerback this offseason, which they should have done. They didn't draft a quarterback. Again, it was kind of a bad quarterback class, so that's fine. But you need a cornerback. I mean, that secondary is bad, and A.J. Brown had his way with them. So I think they'll make a move by the trade deadline because, again, this is your window. You made a good move bringing in Devontae Adams. Obviously, you still got Matty Stafford, Puka, Kyron. Like, this is your window to really win now. So I don't see them not making a move at the deadline for a cornerback, a safety, even a center, apparently. Like, obviously, we saw Jalen Carter at the end of that game demolish your center and kick that field goal. Block that field goal. So it looks like they need a center. They need a cornerback bad. But again, I still like the Rams in this division. Still like the Rams to make noise in the playoffs. But shout out Jalen Hurts. Shout out Sirianni. Really needed this game for us to feel like, okay, like Jalen Hurts isn't just a dump-off merchant game manager. Obviously, we saw it in the Super Bowl, but this game in the regular season was needed. Let's talk about the Buccaneers. I mean, the Buccaneers, again, back-to-back weeks, winning one-score games in the fourth quarter, coming down to that last drive. I mean, Baker Mayfield looks like the most poised quarterback in the NFL. Again, they probably shouldn't have been this close to a Jets team, 27-29. But they get it done nonetheless. Shout out Baker. They're looking good. I don't know if it'll sustain, if it'll stay this way, winning back-to-back weeks of a last drive game winner. But you take it, man. A win is a win. You don't complain about it. Commanders put a whooping on the Raiders. Not much to talk about. Marcus Mariota had a good game. Raiders just, I feel terrible for Ashton Jancy. I mean, there's a stat. I can't remember the exact number. But it takes, like, from the amount of time from when the ball is snapped to when Jancy gets tackled, it's like a second and a half or something like that. Like, this offensive line is just so bad, man. And it sucks because Geno Smith goes from what I thought was probably the worst line he'll ever have in his career last year with Seattle to an even worse line this year in Oakland. Yeah, they're not good. And they were making noise in the offseason. People had them being a dark horse playoff team. Pete Carroll and them, they need an offensive line bad. My Panthers, which to me was the most surprising moment of the year, or excuse me, the weekend. Again, really weird weekend of football. Panthers shut out the Falcons 30-0 at home. As a Panther fan, obviously I'm going to take this game. Do I have hope going forward for this season for the Panthers? No. This is a bad Falcons team. They looked good after week one, but Michael Penix, he doesn't look comfortable out there. It doesn't look like he really can launch the ball down the field at all. They didn't get past the 30-yard line in the Carolina territory. They didn't get past the 30-yard line one time this game. It was a weird game. Bryce Young, again, Bryce Young looked good. Tet looked good. Defense looked great. I don't know if I should be encouraged by this game. I think I've just been scarred so much to the point where it's just like I see through this. Like, I'm calling bluff on this game. But a win is a win. Panthers are rolling right now. I think we are technically second in the division right now after a win against Falcons, Buccaneers, obviously 3-0. But if we can continue rolling like this, who's to say we can't make the playoffs? I believe. No, I don't. Texans, Jaguars. Oh, man. CJ Stroud. It's time to have the conversation. They fought at 0-3. They lose to a Jags team that isn't good. Granted, it was on the road. They lost on the road. But at this point in the season, CJ Stroud has more interceptions than he does touchdown passes. That's really bad. He only averages 200 yards a game. That's not bad. I think DeMeco Ryans will get fired at some point this season. I think he gets fired before the season's over. But there's something to say, man, about defensive head coaches, which is what DeMeco Ryans is. He was a DC before this. Defensive head coaches and bad offensive lines. I mean, that offensive line is atrocious. It's been this way since CJ's rookie year. I mean, it's like you can't expect CJ to thrive with an offensive line this bad. Even though Herbert manages to get away with it, like Sam Darnold manages to get away with it. Like you should expect something out of a number 2 quarterback pick who won Offensive Rookie of the Year and is being compared to above Bryce, Caleb Williams, even though at this point Caleb Williams is probably better. I mean, it's still probably a toss-up between Bryce and CJ. I still take Bryce biasly. But, yeah, man, CJ Stroud is just – he's not looking good, man. That offense isn't looking good. It's looking dead. The only bright spot is Nico Collins. They desperately need to spend money on this offensive line. They got to get him some help. Jags, ugly win, but it's a win nonetheless. You take it. Brian Thomas continues to look out of sync with Trevor Lawrence. Don't know what happens here. They continue to not know how to scheme up plays for Travis Hunter. It looks like they don't know what to do with him. Parker Washington got majority of the targets this week. Yeah, it's a weird offense. But we move on to best team in the NFL, potentially. Chargers win a close game against the Broncos. They're now 3-0. I think Jim Harbaugh might be one of the best coaches in the NFL. I think it obviously was already in talks that he was. We saw him dominate throughout every stage of his career. Back in Stanford with Andrew Luck, Michigan with JJ, national championship, in the NFL with Herbert. And it seems that he has kind of like an ideal mold for a quarterback. Obviously, when he had Andrew Luck at Stanford, basically like a Justin Herbert build, 6'5", 6'6", big quarterback with an arm who can escape the pocket. That's what Justin Herbert is. And we're seeing him this year, after last year, where that majority of that offense was run. Justin Herbert had the lowest picks that he's ever had in his season last year, lowest touchdown passes as well. But this year, we're seeing it. It looks like Jim was kind of like, listen, we can win games running the ball. We can make the playoffs running the ball. But we have a quarterback right now who, if you draw up like a mold for a perfect quarterback, it is Justin Herbert. I mean, he's got the size. He's got the athleticism. He's got the look. He's got the arm. He's got the legs. He's got everything you want in a quarterback. I mean, and he's looking dominant this year, man. Like, he's winning them games. He right now should probably be the MVP favorite right now. I mean, that team looks like they're going to run away with that division for sure. Kansas City is not coming close to them in that division. Neither is Oakland. Neither is the Broncos, obviously. They're probably going to win the AFC. They'll probably be the 1 seed, I'd say. I think the Colts kind of fall off a little bit. I don't see them sustaining that. Maybe the Bills. But they're the team to beat right now, man. Jim Harbaugh, he's looking good. I mean, bro, Quentin Johnston. What do we say about this? He looked like a bust coming out of TCU. But this year, bro, Jim Harbaugh has found a way to rejuvenate his career. And it looks like right now he's better than Ladd McConkey, who right now is not really putting up numbers. It looks like it's Keenan and QJ, and then Ladd's kind of like a throwaway. But QJ, bro, he's balling out right now. That team is dialed on all cylinders. They look good. We move on. Saints got destroyed by the Seahawks. Don't really have to talk about that much. Sam Darnold. Shout out Sam Darnold. Shout out Kenneth Walker. I mean, they came out the game swinging. JSN, I mean, it was over after the first drive. It was over. They look like a really, really good team in that division. Saints look terrible. We move on to Monday Night Football. Or was this Sunday night? I think this was Sunday night. Cowboys-Bears. After 2 weeks of football with the Bears, and us saying they were frauds, us saying Ben Johnson probably wasn't the guy, Caleb Williams probably not the guy, for them to bounce back and have a game like this against, again, I don't want to put emphasis on it too much because it looks like every team that plays the Cowboys just has a generational game. We saw it last week with the Giants. We saw what happened this week with the Giants. It's a tale of two different teams when you play the Cowboys. But I will say, Ben Johnson looked like finally he's getting this offense flowing. Finally, Caleb Williams looked like the number 1 pick for a quarterback. It, to me, was his best game as a pro by far. I mean, 4 touchdown passes, almost 300 yards passing, no interceptions. Spreading the ball out to Rome, DJ Luther, Bird, and D Swift. They got 2 tight ends there, Miles Loveland, Cole Kmet. Like, they've got a really good offense and a good offensive line that they spent money on this year. If this is the beginning of Ben Johnson finally getting this offense flowing, I mean, they can make some noise. But again, I don't know. We have to see it again because we just saw the Giants last week put up numbers against the Cowboys and looked like the worst team in the NFL this past week. We move on to the Cardinals versus the Niners. Monday night game. What was this? I can't remember if this was Sunday or Monday. I'm getting this all mixed up. Regardless, 49ers won by 1 point to the Cardinals. Oh, man. I'll talk about the Cardinals first. I think it's time to really have the conversation about Marvin Harrison Jr. Is he the guy? Is he a guy at all? I mean, he can't catch the ball. He can't separate off the line of scrimmage. It looks like he has no confidence. I mean, he's dropping catchable balls, multiple, not just one. I saw the post-game interview with him where he was crying. Like, he looks defeated. And I feel bad for the kid because he was drafted above Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze, who at this point in their careers much better and much more ahead than Marvin Harrison Jr. But, man, like, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Obviously, this offseason, he beefed up. It looks like he was poised to finally have a breakout year because in his rookie year, he started off decent, finished the year terrible. Week 1 of this year, he looked good. Dropped a couple passes, still looked good. Past 2 weeks, he can't catch a ball. He can't separate. They've got to figure something out over there. The Niners, I mean, bro, Kyle Shanahan, like what I just mentioned with Kevin O'Connell, Jim Harbaugh, like one of the best coaches in the league. He's a QB whisperer. I mean, Mac Jones just looks, he's 2-0 in this offense. He looks like a good quarterback that you can actually start on an offense. I don't think you can start him anywhere else other than San Francisco. But he's got 80 pass attempts in 2 starts. That's more than Justin Herbert the past 2 games. Like, he's airing it out. He might not be launching it downfield, but he's throwing the ball a lot with a wide receiver corps that is banged up. I mean, you've got Jawan Jennings, missed a game. He's hurt. Kittle's out. You've got no Brandon Ayuk. All you're working with is Ricky Pearsall and Christian McCaffrey. And it's like with what he's had, he's spinning the ball. He's making this offense look good. Again, they only scored 16 points, which is enough to beat the Cardinals. But once what's his name, comes back for the Niners, they'll be fine. They're going to run with that division. They're 3-0. Moving on to the final game of Sunday. Giants. Wow. Chiefs versus the Giants. Giants. I'll start off with the Giants first. I don't know. Russ got booed at the end of the game. Giants fans are ruthless, bro. I mean, he didn't look good, though, scoring 9 points. They didn't have a touchdown until like late in the second quarter. Shout out Cam Scatterbo. Yeah, man. I think it is, like I just mentioned with the Bears, it's a tale of 2 teams when you play the Cowboys. I don't know how you go from looking like one of the best quarterbacks in the league to looking like genuinely someone you can't start anymore. I don't get it. I really don't get it. And I see people are calling to start Jackson Dart. I think you do start Jackson Dart. I don't think you start him next game because you go up against the Chargers defense that is really dominant, and I don't know if you want your first game in your career to go up against that Chargers team. I would still give Russ a week or even give Jameis a week, but I think the Russell Wilson experience is over. This Giants team, I mean, I feel for you, bro. Charles, I know. You're hurting. I'm hurting with you, man. But I think to be encouraged, it looks like Cam Scatterbo is a guy. So that gives you something. But if you're a quarterback in this offense going forward, Jameis wins the next game, whether it's Russ, whether it's Jackson week 5, give Malik Neighbors the ball. That is literally your only key to a victory. Give your ex-receiver, your A.J. Brown in an offense. You see what happens when you give the ball to your best receiver on your team. He makes plays. He can win you a game. I mean, there's nobody on that Chiefs secondary. Like, Trent McDuffie's good. You're not matching up with a Malik Neighbors, bro. Give him the ball in open space and let him go to work. But one thing I noticed, it looks like with Russell Wilson, he either throws a deep ball down the field or it's a dump-off check down. Like, there is no flow in his offense, no flow in his quarterback arsenal where he's picking defenses off in the middle of the field, throwing to the outside corner. Like, it's either deep down the field, long ball, or it's a check down, dump-off. And you can't win games with that unless you're beating the Cowboys, which they didn't even win, but they should have. The Chiefs, I mean, this was a must-win game for the Chiefs. I'm not sure what to make of it. Obviously, this Giants team is just not good. But again, they didn't look. It was an ugly win for the Chiefs, like really ugly. They can't pick up first downs. They can't run the ball. Travis Kelce can't catch a ball. They look bored and out of sync. Again, they desperately need Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice right now. And even when they do get him back, I'm not sure if that's what's going to solve this issue on this team. It just looks like I just mentioned, like they just look bored and out of sync. And obviously they got a guy right now in Tyquan Thornton who's just putting up numbers. And probably good for them because by the time Rashee gets back, Xavier Worthy should be back next game. Like you'll have a pretty decent set of weapons. But that's not the problem. Your problem is your running game. They can't run the ball. You can't get first downs. They need to trade for a running back desperately. They need to trade for a running back, and I think they will by the trade deadline. Because Kareem Hunt, you know what you're getting with Kareem Hunt. At this point in his career, he's not a guy. Pacheco, it looks like he's all heart, no production. Like he's not really putting up numbers. Their offensive line isn't an issue either. It's not like they're getting hit instantly after the snap. It's just they can't break tackles. They can't do anything. Like Patrick Mahomes is winning you games, and that's it. But again, when Rashee comes back and Worthy, I think if you're a Travis Kelce owner, you should be encouraged. Because right now it looks like when they get into the end zone, they're just throwing everybody at Kelce. He's not catching balls. He's not looking that good, but he's due for a handful of good games coming up in the future. Last one we have is Lions-Ravens that just happened last night. Filming this Tuesday morning. I fell asleep during this game, but Lions defeat the Ravens at home, 38-30. Obviously, I kind of looking through the box score a little bit. Derrick Henry, back-to-back weeks of not really looking great. Obviously, he had a touchdown, but he lost that fumble in the game, which really cost them. The problem isn't Lamar Jackson. He's putting up numbers. 21 for 27, 288, 3 touchdowns, 35 rushing yards. He got sacked 7 times, which is not good compared to Jared Goff getting sacked 0 times. But yeah, man, like this defense giving them 38 at home to a team where, like, after week 1, people were calling for Lions to not make the playoffs, myself included, going into this year. But when you have a backfield like David Montgomery, who rushes for 151 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Jahmyr Gibbs with another 2 touchdowns, and then you got Amon-Ra St. Brown giving you a tutty. Like, I mean, we've said it all along the past 3 years in this team. Like, they're just loaded on offense, absolutely loaded. And Jared Goff, maybe it wasn't a Ben Johnson thing. Maybe this team is legit. Maybe they do make some noise this year. I'm not sure. But, I mean, we got Laporta, 4 catches, Amon-Ra 7, Jahmyr had 5. Like, the team looked good. Ravens now fall to 1-2. I mean, that's really a bad game to lose at home. But, it is what it is, man. So, again, weird week. Really, really, really weird week of football. Like, you get a 1-score game with the Cardinals-Niners. We got blocked field goals for the Jets, for the Eagles. It's just, just really, really weird week of football. But going forward, we'll kind of go through next week really quick. I'll kind of give my thoughts for the spread. Charles did give me something he wanted to share, so give me a second as I pull this up. It breaks his heart that he's not here. Charles wanted me to bring up, and this is fantasy full panic players. The entire Bengals offense. Yes, unless they trade for a quarterback, which they need to do. Yeah, I mean, it looks like Jamar Chase is maybe the only startable player, and that's like wide receiver 2-3 flex range because that offense is just not good. Marvin Harrison Jr., we just touched on it. Yeah, man, he's got to figure something out. Mike Evans got banged up in that game. It looks like he might miss a game. He's got an MRI, I think, yesterday or today. I got to look at that to see what's the update with that. Lad McConkey, just touched on that a little bit. QJ looks like he's taking over as that wide receiver 2, while Keenan is a wide receiver 1, which is crazy to me because they picked him off the street. He also said it's a still buy low on Brian Thomas Jr. That's encouraging, I think, right now. For if you're holding on if you're a Brian Thomas owner, you hold. I mean, you're not getting value for him at all at this point. He isn't giving you anything. So you have no choice but to hold on to him. I wouldn't sell him. But if you can buy low on Brian Thomas Jr., 1,000%. 1,000%. He said it's also time for Amorion Hampton and Scatterbo. Yeah. We saw Najee Harris leave the game. I think he tore his Achilles. So it looks like he might be out. So Amorion Hampton looked dominant in that game. And again, Cam Scatterbo, Tyrone Tracy left the game. Looks like he's going to be missing some time. He ruptured or tore something, maybe his shoulder. So Cam Scatterbo is about to take over that backfield. There was some other, I think, CeeDee Lamb, he might be on the IR. He might be out for the rest of the season. So, I mean, that offense is already kind of flat with CeeDee Lamb. And there was some points in the game where I was watching with Dak Prescott, because CeeDee left after the first play or first drive. Dak Prescott would drop back and literally wait for a CeeDee Lamb to get open if he was available. But he's dropping back looking and nobody's getting open. Like, obviously nowadays now, like, George Pickens is really going to turn into a really valuable fantasy asset because it's him and Jake Ferguson. So, yeah, that's something to kind of, if you can get a Jake Ferguson off the waivers. I picked up Jake Ferguson off the waivers this week and he gave me 20 points. Yeah, man. But, again, there was some other fantasy takeaways that I kind of want to touch on from this. We saw Quinshawn. He's taking over this backfield now. Michael Pittman looks like he's a wide receiver 2 flex play, wide receiver 3, if they can continue giving him the ball. Josh Downs, I don't know what we can make of Josh Downs at this point. Vikings, we saw Jordan Mason, 2 tutters. He's going to dominate this backfield, especially now that Aaron Jones is gone. Steelers, Patriots, Jaylen Warren looks like he's completely taken over that backfield. Completely taken over. He's getting all the volume out of the backfield and third downs, 2-minute drill. Trevion Henderson, the Patriots, he's starting to ramp up. Eagles, it looks like you could finally be confident starting A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Saquon didn't have a great game, but again, Jalen Hurts did. Those receivers now are starting to climb up rankings. Buccaneers, weird game for Bucky, weird game for Mike. It looks like oh my God. It looks like, what's his freaking name out of Ohio State? I'm not going to pronounce his name right now. Emeka Egbuka. There we go. That's such a weird name to pronounce. He's taking over now. I mean, he had 6 catches. Sterling Shepard had 4 catches. Mike had the touchdown, but he got banged up. So, Mike, Evan, owners, hold strong, brothers. Commanders, no real fantasy takeaways. We saw Bill have a good game. JT, you still start him. You have no choice but to start him. But Falcons, Panthers, you should never be starting Michael Penix ever. But we saw Bijan have a good game, even if he didn't get a touchdown. He still put up fantasy numbers. Chuba didn't have a great game, but we saw Bryce. Majority of this was defense, so fantasy takeaways, not really much. Jaguars hold on to Brian Thomas. Nico Collins still gives you something. The only bright spot of that offense. Chargers, this is now Morion Hampton's backfield. Broncos, we saw J.K. still have another rushing touchdown. Bo Nix is, at this point, he's a streaming quarterback at best. I don't feel comfortable starting him week-to-week basis. It's kind of on matchups. The Saints, you don't start anybody except Alvin Kamara. Seahawks, Jason is looking like a top 3 receiver in the league for fantasy. Cowboys, Bears, it looks like, I mean, you might be able to start DJ Moore and feel comfortable. But Rome is really pulling away. Luther Burden had a game. I'm not sure what to make of it. Do we feel confident starting him? We kind of got to see it again. Again, it's the Cowboy effect. We don't make much out of it. Cardinals, Niners, McCaffrey is just locked and loaded, running back 1 this year. Even without scoring a touchdown, he puts up 20 points minimum on a game. So, shout out McCaffrey. We love you. Please, please, please stay healthy. Please. Niners, you don't start anybody except Trey McBride. I mean, maybe you get a random Michael, what the heck is his name? Freaking, what's the receiver we were just talking about? Marvin Harrison. Maybe you get a random Marvin Harrison game where he scores a touchdown, but I don't like it at all. James Conner is out for the year, so now it looks like Trey Benson's really going to lead this backfield. So if he's available on your waivers, which he probably shouldn't be, if he is, please run and spend all your fab on Trey Benson. Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes is the only viable person in this offense until you get Xavier Worthy back. Lions, I mean, you start everybody. You start everybody on that team. Ravens, you still start Derrick Henry, Lamar. Zay had a poop game. Yeah, which we knew would happen. This is the Zay Flowers experience. But yeah, that's really kind of my fantasy takeaways. So I'm going to look over week 4 really quick for the NFL season. Right? No, yeah, we just did week 3. Let me get a sip of this tea. Talking this much really drains your voice. This is bad. Oh, that's good. All right, week 4. On Thursday night, and I have Charles picks here too. We'll go against the spread and who we think is going to win. On Thursday night, you get Seattle, Arizona. That is an ugly, ugly game. That's a terrible game. Right now, Seattle is favored on the road against Arizona, -1.5. I am going to take Seattle -1.5 with the win. Charles is going to take Seahawks W and the spread. Let me just pull this here. I'm on the left of my screen. There we go. Yeah, I mean, I don't think right now at this point of the season, the Cardinals are not a good team. So we're going to move on here. After that, we got Minnesota at Pittsburgh. Right now, Minnesota's favored at 2.5. On the road, going up against a Pittsburgh team with Aaron Rodgers in a defense. I'm not sure if JJ is going to start this game or if it's going to be Carson Wentz again. I don't know. But if Carson Wentz is starting, or even if JJ is starting, I'm going to take Pittsburgh in this game at home. Give them the points. So Pittsburgh +2.5 to actually win the game. Charles is picking. Charles didn't pick for this game. What's going on with you, Charles? Pittsburgh, right? Yeah. He didn't pick anybody for this game. Oh, he did. He said Steelers W and spread. Yeah, same as me. So we're going to pick the Pittsburgh in that game. Then we move on to Washington at Atlanta. Right now, Washington is favored at 2.5 against Atlanta on the road. I think Jaden Daniels starts this game. So if that's the case, right now, I'm probably starting any team, any defense that goes against Atlanta. So yeah, I'm taking Washington with the points at 2.5. It looks like Charles also picked Washington with the W in the spread. We move on to New Orleans at Buffalo. Right now, Buffalo at home is projected to win by 16.5. I mean, that is a college football line. 16.5 against the Saints. Oh, man, that's a tough one. Charles picked Buffalo win with New Orleans covering the spread. I want to pick New Orleans to cover because 16 is a lot. I mean, what are we talking about here? But I'm going to go Buffalo. I'm going to go Buffalo to cover the spread. 16.5 with a victory. Then we move on. We got Cleveland at Detroit. Right now, Detroit is favored at 8.5 versus Cleveland. Detroit is at home. I'm picking Detroit to win and cover. I think the Browns peaked last week. I don't think they win another game. I don't think they win this game. I don't think they cover 8.5. It looks like Charles also picked the Lions W, but Cleveland spread. So back-to-back weeks of Cleveland covering the spread. But Lions win the game. I have Lions covering. We move on. Carolina at New England. We got a couple more games here. Carolina at New England. Right now, New England's favored at 5.5 at home. 5.5 on the road for the Panthers. I want to believe in my Panthers. Again, blowing out Atlanta 30-0 at home. But I just don't feel confident right now with my team on the road. So I'm going to take New England to win and cover the spread. It looks like Charles picked Patriots W and spread as well. We got Los Angeles Chargers at the New York Giants. Chargers 6.5. Give me the Chargers all day, regardless of who you start. Charles picked Chargers W. Giants spread. Interesting. We don't even know who's their starting quarterback. So Charles is picking Giants to cover the spread. I think they get destroyed. We got Philly at Tampa Bay. Philly's favored -3.5 on the road. I am going to take the Eagles. I'm going to take the Eagles to win and cover on the road. I mean, we just saw last week the Eagles can win anyway. They can win running the ball. They can win with Jalen Hurts airing it out. And I think that unlocked something in that offense that we're going to see a little bit more going forward. And that Tampa Bay team, again, they're down Mike Evans. They're a little banged up on the offensive line. I like Philly to win and cover that spread. It looks like Charles picked the... Who is it? Where's Philly? Philly. You really could have made this a little bit easier for me to read, man. Philly at Tampa Bay. Oh, Charles picking the Bucks to have a W and the spread. Wow, interesting. So Charles picking the Bucks to cover the spread and win the game, 3.5. Next game, we got Tennessee, Houston. Houston's favored, -6.5. That's an ugly game. I really don't want to touch this game. I'm going to pick Tennessee to cover the spread, but Houston to win. It looks like Charles is going to pick again, Houston W, but Titans cover the spread. Same to me. Move on, Indianapolis at Los Angeles. Might be the game of the week. Undefeated Colts going up against a Rams team that just had a real heartbreaking loss. Rams are favored at 3.5. I think this is the week that Indianapolis comes to face reality. I mean, they've faced the Titans. I think they faced the Titans. They faced the Broncos. And then last week they faced the Dolphins. They haven't really put up a juggernaut team yet, which is what I think the Rams come into play here. I think Rams win. I think they cover 3.5. Charles is picking the Colts to win and cover the spread. Wow. All right. Colts to win at 3.5. I'm picking Rams to cover and win. Jacksonville at Niners. We got San Fran favored at 3.5. I don't like this Jaguars team. Even if Mac Jones is starting, I like San Francisco to win and cover. Charles is picking the Niners to win, but the Jags cover the spread at 3.5. Moving on, we're going to Baltimore at Kansas City. Game of the week potential again. Oh, that's a good game. Baltimore at Kansas City. Right now, the way Baltimore is playing, even though they have a heartbreaking loss last night, I don't think that Kansas City has any answers for that offense at all. I don't think they have any answers for that team. So I'm picking Baltimore to win. They're at 2.5. I like Baltimore to win and cover the spread. Charles is picking the Chiefs to win and cover. Wow. Moving on, Chicago at Vegas. We have right now Chicago's favored at 1.5. On the road, I'm picking Caleb Williams and that Bears team to beat that Vegas team on the road. I mean, I think Ben Johnson finally discovered something in that offense. They got a little bit of flow going, and that Raiders team is just bad. They're really just bad. Charles is picking the Raiders to win and cover the spread. Green Bay at Dallas, the last game on Sunday. We got Green Bay favored at 6.5 on the road. I like Green Bay to win, and I also like them to cover as well. I think they got embarrassed last week against the Browns. I think they come out swinging this week. Dallas, no CD. They don't have any real flow in that offense right now. Javonte's looking decent, but I think CD is the answer to that team. I think they get exposed. Charles is picking the Green Bay to win, but Dallas cover the spread. Monday Night Football, these are the last two games. We have New York Jets on the road facing Miami. Right now, Miami's favored at 2.5. I think Justin Fields is back for this game. And if Justin Fields is back for this game, I'm taking the Jets to win on the road. Obviously meaning they cover 2.5. Jets win on the road against Miami. Yeah, if Justin Fields is playing. If he's not playing, I get a conditional pick here with the Miami winning and covering. If it's Tyrod Taylor again, which I don't think it is. Charles picked Miami to win and cover the spread. Now we have sent the last game of the week. The Bengals on the road facing a tough Denver team. Right now, Denver's favored at 7.5. Yeah, I mean, anybody going against Cincinnati, I'm taking them Cincinnati to win. Anybody facing Cincinnati, I'm taking the other team to win and cover. So, yeah, give me Denver -7.5 at home. Charles also picked Denver W and spread. Those are our picks for the week. I'll put up the graphic right now with the scoreboard right now for me and Charles. Last week was a really ugly week for football, meaning it was a really ugly week for our picks. So hopefully this week goes a little bit better. We don't get any weird outlier games, missed field goals, blocked field goal kicks, shutouts for a team that's terrible. I think we're going to come back to reality this week. And, yeah, I think that's all for NFL. So I'm going to shut this laptop down. That's going to conclude our episode for this week. Let us know who y'all have this week. Any upsets y'all got going on for football. Obviously, we got more college football happening this week. We have more NFL happening. We're almost on the verge of basketball coming back. We're in a real dry season for the NBA, but college is about to pick up soon. NBA is going to pick up soon, and it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful week of football, weekend of football. And, yeah, man, we're in a good part of life right now. So enjoy life. Spend time with your loved ones. Watch some games this weekend. Have some fun. Have a day. And, yeah, we'll see y'all next week. Make sure, before I finish, like, subscribe, share this with a friend. Send this to somebody you love. We really believe in the heart of this channel, and we just want to see people come to Christ while also being able to enjoy these things called sports. Yeah, we love y'all so much. I love you so much. We'll see you next week. Peace.